Good morning and welcome to the podcast. This is Michael Maxwell for Say It Plain with Michael Maxwell, Chaos to Clarity. And I want to thank you for joining me again. It's been incredible. I appreciate the support. I just want to say thanks. And we're just going to get right into it. Last episode, I talked about why it's better to resume than to reset. And funny enough, I'm dealing with that right now. It's been a couple of weeks. I haven't been filming. When I was under the weather, I was just overwhelmed trying to get my medication sorted out. So something's falling through the cracks. Unfortunately, my filming fell through the cracks. I was talking about where you resume, you don't reset, because nothing kills momentum like trying to reset. And it's a beautiful thing that the last episode was about resuming versus reset, because now that's exactly what we're doing. We're resuming. So welcome you back. I've gotten some messages and people have reached out, be like, hey, when's the next episode? I hear you. I got you. We're here. And I thank you for that. I thank you for that. It lets me know that you appreciate what I'm doing. You benefit from what I'm doing. And so I'm just going to keep doing it. And we're just going to take this journey together. So thank you for sticking with me and let's keep the conversation going. So I was having a conversation with Kim yesterday. It wasn't an epiphany, but it was kind of an aha moment. What I want to share is concept. If you want anything significant to change, whether it be your relationship, whether it be your finances, or whether it be your career, whether it be your health, it could be your physical health, it could be your mental health, what most people who are able to, and I wouldn't say most, I will say all people who are able to successfully have what others consider radical change in their state of being, I think what they have in common is they are comfortable, or they have been comfortable with being uncomfortable. And here's the thing. Change does not happen in comfort. That's not how it works. Our brains are not wired that way. And we are, by default, our brains are so really, really good at being very, very efficient. It likes to engage in things that require little to no energy. So it will record a routine, perfect a routine, and just keep running that routine, whether you're conscious or subconsciously aware of it. The routine seeps into your subconsciousness and then it just runs in the background. There are a lot of things you can do that require no conscious effort on your part. Anyone who's been driving for a long time, there are certain habits that you have. When you were learning to drive, think about it. You had to actually be intentional about it. And now while you're driving, it just happens automatically. It's become an automatic thought. It just runs in the background. You check your mirrors periodically. They're just things that you do that you don't have to think about. You just do. And they make you a very efficient driver. They make you a very safe driver. Many of our days run that way. Our brain creates a routine. It follows that routine, and those routines make our days easier. When you're trying to create a change in any capacity, be it financial, relationship, emotional, physical, you're going to have to break a routine. The routine you're in is not working for you. Your brain is going to resist that break. It will fight to keep on the path of least resistance. But for you to achieve change, you have to become comfortable with discomfort, because that transition from the path of least resistance to where you're trying to go is discomfort. Your greatest achievements will come from when you're able to lean into discomfort. Let's say you want to work on your body, do some bodybuilding. You want a bigger chest, tighter abs, smaller waistline, bigger arms, shoulders, whatever it is. From where you're sitting today, right now in your body, you're going to have to make the decision, one, that you want to engage on this change. Two, you have to go to the gym or get some weights, and then you're going to have to put your body underneath stress. There are going to be days when you're recovering that you're going to feel sore. It's going to be painful. It's going to be uncomfortable. But dealing with that discomfort consistently is what's going to bring about the change that you're looking for. It's the same thing with your finances. You're going to have the uncomfortable conversation, which is, hey, I have more bills than I have money. And what can I do to change that? It could be that you have a full-time job. You might have to take a part-time job. You might have to do some Uber or DoorDash, or you might have to do some courier work, deliver pizzas, whatever. I remember years ago, we read a book Dave Ramsey wrote basically about the snowball method in financial creating a path out of debt. And in that, he gave some examples of people doing extra gigs, working at McDonald's or delivering pizzas, random things that people were doing to enhance their income so that they can pay down their bills faster. And honestly, if I'm being transparent, I find myself in that position right now, which is there are credit card bills that I want to pay down. My income is capped right now. Well, it's not anymore, but it was capped. And there were things that I wanted to do. I had to have the uncomfortable conversation, and I get comfortable with the idea of being uncomfortable. I had to get comfortable like, hey, would I rather sit at home, watch TV, play with my son? Absolutely. But I need to generate extra income so I can knock out these bills, because when you have credit card debt, the interest on that is ridiculous. You're paying 20 something percent on whatever. And so the minimum payments is just not going to cut it. You got to get out from underneath that. So you have to have the uncomfortable conversation with your budget or with yourself, looking at your budget and saying, hey, I've got to knock this stuff down, because once I knock this stuff down, I'm great. I don't have to do it forever. I just need to do it for a couple months. You set a goal, you stick to your goal, you knock it out and you're done. It's not something you're supposed to do forever anyway. Then you're like, okay, as much as I'd love to lounge around the house, I can't do that. I can't be comfortable. I have to make myself uncomfortable. Uncomfortable is getting out in the car, going and doing the work that needs to get done. Another uncomfortable thought is I drive a nice car. When I started using the car, there was that thought, oh man, you're going to put miles on the car. What are people going to think? You kind of get comfortable with the idea, like, who cares what anyone thinks? You know what you're doing. You know why you're doing it. And then whether you use the car or not, it's still sitting in the driveway and it is still costing you X amount of dollars in maintenance, in gas, in monthly payments, in insurance. It's a fixed cost. So whether or not you increase your income or don't, it still costs what it costs just to have there. And I don't have the time for a car just sitting pretty in my driveway. We're fortunate enough. Kim's office is in the house. She has her own office next to the studio, actually. So she wakes up in the morning, gets herself ready, gets her breakfast. She comes downstairs into the basement and does her thing. And she doesn't leave to work. So we don't use the car. The car is a glorified grocery getter that costs us anywhere between insurance and the payment close to $1,000 a month. And it's just sitting there. So even if I use it to do gig work, let's say I bring in $1,000 a month using it for gig work, then it's at zero. The cost to own the vehicle is now zero. It's not $1,000 a month. It's just net zero. It brings in what it costs to have. Got it? You got to get comfortable with things like that. If it's your relationship, you got to have the uncomfortable conversation. Be like, hey, I want us to be together, but this is not working. Something has to change. The something does not necessarily mean the relationship has to change, but the relationship dynamic might need to change. That might mean you have conversations, look inwardly, seek therapy, get help, work on things and change things. But it all starts with having the conversation that is uncomfortable and doing the work that is uncomfortable to give you the result you're looking for. It's the same thing with your behavioral health, with your mental health. You have to recognize, hey, this isn't working for me. Something's up. I had that conversation and that aha moment, and I'm still trying to figure it out. You know, we've tried, I'll be transparent. I'm trying Vyvanse. I want to try Vyvanse. So we've tried 20 milligrams. That's not working. Now we're doing 40. I still don't feel it. My psychiatrist said that I would know. So I don't feel anything different. The fact that I don't know means it's just not working. So hopefully, because everyone's, metabolism is a little different. So I'm actually just going to send a message to the office and say, hey, can we just try 60 for 2 weeks? I know she would prefer Adderall. I don't want Adderall. Adderall just has, in my head, I could be wrong. I could just be ignorant, but Adderall just has this negative connotation toward it. Not that all drugs can't be abused, but, whatever. I just have a couple horror stories of Adderall in my head, and I'm just like, yeah, I would rather not. But anyway, I really don't have a choice, and there is being comfortable with being uncomfortable. I do need to get the meds to help me focus so that I can engage in structure and do the things that I need to do moving forward. Like being consistent on recording, being consistent on planning out the content, being consistent on just all the things that I set out to do and being able to do them. Because right now, I still feel like I have a hand tied behind my back sometimes. Today, I just want to encourage anyone listening or watching to know that it's okay to resume. Don't reset. We're literally coming right off the last episode. We're touching right on this. And second, in my opinion, no great task, great adventure, great result happens without someone deciding or someone being comfortable with being uncomfortable. It's that gap between what you know, what routines you've created, and going into unfamiliar territory. That discomfort, that transition, the transitions are always uncomfortable. But those who reap the benefit, the difference between people who are rich and people who are broke, in my opinion, is that most of the people who are rich are comfortable with being uncomfortable. They have talent and skill sets that allow them to excel. At some point, they're willing to do things that the average person isn't willing to do. It's not enough that you have talent. It's not enough that you have skill. You have to have a certain work ethic. You have to be the one that does more than most. For example, we look at most pro athletes. You know what they have to do? Practice a lot. They develop a lot of muscle memory because they practice an insane amount. The difference between them and everybody else is not just their talent, it's their work ethic. The difference between you, where you are, and where it is you're trying to go is that discomfort, is that practicing a lot. It's that doing the extra. It's the doing what is required. It's just the doing. Because when we're comfortable, we're not doing. The difference between where you are today and where you want to go is the doing. And the discomfort is in the doing. Do I know what it is? No, but I know where it is that I'm trying to go, and I know what it is that I'm trying to have. I have not been there before, so I do not have a map. But I know where I am today is not working. So I am going to try to figure it out. And it's the person that's willing to try to figure it out that usually ends up figuring it out with trial, with error, with persistence, with resilience. You will eventually get there. So that's the message that I want you to have today. I want you to know that it is okay to be uncomfortable, and you have to use that. I really just want you to know today that, hey, the gap between where you are and where you want to go, in that space lies discomfort. And the people who are willing to lean into discomfort, to tolerate discomfort, to work in discomfort, to walk, to live, to breathe in discomfort for a period of time, working towards a goal, those are the ones who achieve greatness. Those are the ones who achieve financial freedom. Those are the ones who achieve the next level of existence in their relationship, their mental health, their physical health. The people who achieve the success that you want at some point were leaning into discomfort. In some cases, they didn't have a choice. You know, your back is against the wall and you just have to take action. And in some cases, you know, there are people who chose to take action before their back was against the wall. As I said that, it just dawned on me. That's kind of what happened with me. Before my back was against the wall, I had to take action. I had a wake-up call. The wake-up call was my health, my numbers, the A1C, the cholesterol, the weight, the blood pressure, all of that stuff. But it hadn't gotten to the point where it required chemical medical intervention. I had my aha moment, but I wasn't up against a wall where it's like, oh my God, you have to be on diuretics or blood thinners. None of that. It was like, hey, you have a choice you could make. There's some things you can do different that will change your life. And I chose to just do those things. So I chose to exercise. I chose to fast. I took an intervention. And it was uncomfortable at first. The thoughts weren't comfortable, even though they were fast. And I took action quickly. You know, that required a change. That required discomfort. Like the first 48 hours I fasted, there were some moments of discomfort because I didn't know what I was doing. And I didn't do it in the most efficient way because I didn't have even all the tools that I now use, that I now recommend. I just white knuckled it and it worked out for me. But, you know, here I am today benefiting from all the results of that. As a matter of fact, this morning when I got on the scale, I was 205 pounds. So I've gone from, we're now in February, and between October of 2025 and now February of 2026, I'm down from 256 to 205 pounds. Wow, that's like 51 pounds. You get what I'm saying? It's you're gonna get incredible results. You're gonna get great results. And even if they're not astounding, if you just lean into discomfort, progress is made in discomfort. And listen, whether you have no choice or choose to engage in discomfort, it's going to be worth it. I'm telling you, no big change or nothing worthwhile is going to happen when you're trying to move from where you are to some new destination, whether it be in your relationship, finances, whether it be in your mental health, whether it be in your physical health, whether it be with your friends and family. Without leaning into what's uncomfortable, nothing meaningful and measurable is going to happen. So I thank you for your time. I just wanted to share that with you. I woke up this morning and I'm not going to complain. But this is not a complaint. I'm just stating for fact. This morning, I had to lean into discomfort because it's maybe 40 degrees in this room. My hands are freezing. I am freezing. But I wanted to get this message out there. I have to get back to my recording schedule. I can't wait till it's comfortable. I can't wait till it's 60 degrees or 70 degrees in here. I have to be willing to be uncomfortable to achieve what I set out to do, which is be consistent, which is be reliable to the people who choose to subscribe, the people who choose to give me an opportunity to take up some of their time on their Tuesday mornings. So I thank you for joining me. I thank you for watching. I thank you for listening. And until the next time, remember to take care of yourselves and take care of each other. I really want you to take with you today to travel from where you are to where you want to go. It's going to require you to be uncomfortable, and that's okay. I don't believe anything great happens outside of that. So, in closing, thank you for joining me. This is Michael Maxwell of the Say It Plain with Michael Maxwell podcast, Chaos to Clarity. Thank you for having the conversation. Take care.